Today I'm coming back with what I'm going to call an ongoing project video. So while we're waiting for Abaddon to be painted and so I can get that video together, I thought I'd show a couple of the other things I've been working on. So I'm starting with my Lord of Skulls, which I've been working on for several months on and off. As you can see, certain bits are part way through, certain bits a lot further on than others, but what I'm planning on doing is making it eventually so that it's black and gold and red, so that it fits in with both the fact that obviously Khorne is mostly red on his models. However, with my Black Legion army, I want him to fit into that and fit with the aesthetic as well, while holding on to that Khorne heritage. So, got some various different bits here. Bring them in focus, or at least try to. Now, obviously with a model this kind of size, it's quite a daunting task for painting. So what I have done, I don't actually glue a lot of the models together completely to start with. This model actually comes away in pieces. As you can see, various different little sub-assemblies, as they're generally called, right the way down to that. One of the reasons that I tend to do this is I find it's a lot easier to get an entire model painted like this, especially of this size. You're not looking at trying to get the entire model done at once. You can feel like you're doing piece by piece and you're making progress and things. So it makes it a little bit easier to get such a giant task done. So you can see obviously it's primed in red. The main piece that I've done is almost finished. I just need to retouch the collar that's on it. That is the actual head of this model. Now what I've done here, depending on how well you can see it, it was primed the same as the rest with Citadel Mephiston red. Then I painted the black areas onto it. Obviously it's sectioned off. Painted the black areas on. Then I went on to shading the red areas. By shading, I don't mean as in applying a shade like with Citadel. I mean actually painting on some highlights and shadows in the recesses. If I can get it in focus enough for you. There we go. You can see there is a little bit of a gradient on that little red quarter at the front there. Just a simple layering technique for that, which obviously I will probably end up covering when I'm painting Abaddon. But yeah, it was just to give it that little bit of extra detail on there, rather than just an edge highlight of it. The skulls within the symbol of Khorne, painted with Rakath flesh, then shaded with Seraphim sepia, with then a coat of Ushabti bone over the top of it. The gold brass looking colour was done with Balthazar gold, followed by Gehenna's gold and Auric armour gold, with a very, very light touch of Agrax Earthshade around the rivets and things before applying the Gehenna's gold. And the eyes, done with Warpstone green, if I remember correctly. Can't remember exactly right now. And then Uriel yellow, just to give them a little bit of a shine to them. That is the only piece that is just about finished painting. You can see that the collar is a bit messy right now. As for the other parts of it, so in order to accommodate the fact that I'm wanting to keep them separate, I've got here, if we take the base unit, you can see the little circles in there. Those are actually where I've magnetised this particular model, so that these tanks, which also have little circles on them, which are their magnets, can just slot straight on and hold pretty nice and firm. Not just helpful for painting, but also when it comes around to actually transporting this model, it's a lot easier to transport if you can take a lot of those extremities off. The arms as well are magnetised. Because at the time I only had very small magnets to use, I've only used those 3mm, I believe they are, but I've used as well some gardening wire to pin just underneath the magnet, and also drilled a hole into the ball joint of that socket, so the magnet holds it on and the pin just gives it a little bit of extra strength to keep it in place. With the arm with the axe, I actually drilled 2 holes, so this one can actually be positioned in a couple of different positions. So slot that on there, can have his axe raised, or we use the other position, you can have the axe lowered, just depending on what kind of mood I'm in at the time, really. And one of my other techniques that I use just for speed and you know, a little bit less effort than a lot of the other ones will come to, especially when you're doing something so big, is just using simple dry brushing to get gradients on things like these spikes, which I've decided to do as if they're bone. Same on the wrist there, well, the forearm. Again, following the consistency of the rest of the model. It's done with Balthazar Gold and Agrax Earthshade on the trim, and Rakath Flesh with this Seraphim Sepia in the recesses as the shade. I think I want to do another coat of that on this particular one, just to give it a little bit extra of the sepia tint to it, because it's looking a little bit Agrax Earthshade right now. In the middle of magnetising the gun options for the arm and for the stomach cannon, it's the only way I can really describe it. So there's a bit of hollow space that I'm gonna have to work with here. So I'm figuring out exactly how I want to do that. Probably just gluing a bit of excess sprue or something to make up the gap, give me something to actually glue onto. But yeah, like I say, it's just nice and easy with these different sub-assemblies. Slotting these together. See how the model's going to look? You can put it together and take it apart as many times as you want. Probably should have done that bit first, if I can remember how this damn thing goes together. There we are. So as you're painting it, obviously, like I say, you're doing it in smaller sections, and as it builds up, you can see more or less what the finished product's going to look like. So that's it for my Khorne Lord of Skulls. I'll give you another update when I've done a bit more to that. Obviously I am focusing on Abaddon at the moment to try and get that how to paint video out to you. For now, until that time, it is going to be a couple of ongoing project videos, and when Abaddon is ready I will make sure to let everyone know. Make sure if you want to see that video when it comes out, get a little notification, you can subscribe, so that would be greatly appreciated. Trying to build the channel up. I've not only got 12 subscribers I think at the time of recording, so you know, every little helps, and I'll see you again in the next one.